Hi, it's Mickey Dolenz here. You're listening to Inspirado Projecto.
Thank you, Sir Mickey Dolenz. I'm not going to wait for the Queen to knight you. I'm calling you Sir. I'm going to knight you. You are now knighted in the night on December 21st. The great conjunction. What is your function? Welcome to Inspirado Projecto, everybody. We're going to start off the episode with some extraordinary folks who just called in. My fellow Anchor podcasters. We can leave messages. If you're on Anchor, you can leave messages. You can leave voice messages for people, which is just phenomenal. I also have a hotline, 561-203-9179. You can leave a message on there too, and then I'll put it right into the podcast. So, without further ado, and definitely without further ado, here's our first one. Hang on.
Hello, Mr. Projecto, Inspirado. This is Tumultuous, or Dimitri, which is actually my real name. It's interesting that you have a podcast on Anchor about things that are supernatural to some, but more of a log to yourself so you can keep track of what you're doing, thus telling other people the information that you know in hopes other people will, quote-unquote, wake up. I have one too, and on Anchor. It's called Avoiding Entropy. Yeah, I'll totally be a guest on your podcast. It could be great. I shoot from the hip usually when I go, but I haven't had a guest on mine yet. I just kind of been blabbering away. If you want to listen, Intuition's a good episode. And the Genius, Inkblot Genius. Looking forward to hearing from you. See you soon. Happy thinking. Thanks.
That's just phenomenal. That is phenomenal. Dimitri, a.k.a. Tumultuous Entropy. He's on TikTok. I met him on TikTok. And, I'd love to interview you, man. I've seen your telepathic exercises. I think it's so kick-ass the way that you treat your TikTok channel and the way that you're so collaborative with people. And, folks, Tumultuous sent me a couple of paragraphs in my message area for TikTok. And as those of you who've been following along this podcast, you know that, just as he said, this is my archive for my future self. This is for my future self to listen to, so he knows what's going on. It's what he did, his memories, what he did back in the day. And at the same time, just as previously mentioned, this also is a beacon to others who are familiar with these concepts. So what's interesting, those of you who've been listening, you know how obsessed I am with synchronicities and how excited I get about them. And it's so interesting because there were a series of videos that I made, and then there was a series of videos that I made that struck so many chords with him of things that he had been talking about or thinking about or previously wrote down. And I don't know what's going on with that TikTok algorithm, but I feel like maybe it's listening to our thoughts. I mean, maybe that's what this whole 5D thing is that we're talking about here, moving from 3D to 5D. We're actually going to be blending dreams more into reality. Maybe we're going to be seeing a whole lot more synchronicities, a whole lot manifestations of reality coming up, and we're really going to have to make sure that we be careful about the words that we're using and the things we're wishing for. As they say, be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. Well, if you're specific about it, you're going to be a lot happier, I would say, with the result. You just don't want it to turn into like a monkey's paw type of situation. Look up monkey's paw I'm not going to explain that, but look up Monkey's Paw. It was a play I was in. And it's like a Twilight Zone episode. Monkey's Paw. And there were so many commonalities that just so happened to fit in line with stuff that he had been talking about, that he sent me these messages, and I'm like, okay, I definitely got to interview him. I got to interview this guy. When you find people who are authentic, when you find people who are speaking from source, who are trying to strengthen their relationship with the universe, with the all that is, and that's what they're focusing on. Imagine that's the root behind the tree that grows. So you're not watering branches here, you're watering the root. And that's what Dimitri does, aka tumultuous entropy. So thank you so much for calling in, man. Yeah, I gotta interview you. I gotta have you on the podcast. I'll check out one of your episodes too. Intuition, the one you're talking about. All right, on to the next one.
Hold on to your panties. You are the cause. You are the cause of the laughing meditation that I have in my head. We need to do a show where there's just pure laughter. Oh, word of caution, don't pee your pants.
Maria. Oh, man. I get such a kick out of Maria. Maria's always talking about hold on to your panties. So I made her a theme song. I've made a theme song for a lot of different folks, for different podcasts and or celebrity endorsements. And I made the song Hold On to Your Panties for her podcast. And you only get a minute to leave a message for people. So cut me off in the middle of it, but I just had so much fun with it. I didn't want to re-record it. It was just all improv, baby. And Maria she must have cloned herself, because she's got such a way of being everywhere all at once at the same time. She's got her YouTube channel, she's got her meditations, she's got her Instagram page that she's putting stuff up on, and her podcast. She's all over the place. And, there's a connotation that that's a bad thing for some reason. Oh, he's all over the place. She's all over the place. Well, if you enjoy spinning the plates and you put just as much care and love and appreciation into each one of those creations, there's really no issue. It's just like having a bunch of tentacles. It's the tentacles of the same, or as we just talked about, branches of the same tree, tentacles of the same beast, of the same kraken. And she's really good at spinning those plates. So please check her out. Strong Body, Strong Soul. Check out her podcast. And you're sure to love it. Just good vibes all around. Every time I hear Maria's voice, it reminds me of one of those 70s disc jockeys. Like, I immediately, I'm getting images of WKRP in Cincinnati right now. One of those kinds. Late night disc jockey. For your long ride home. Night driving music. I can imagine her playing some Fleetwood Mac. Led Zeppelin. It's like classic rock. That's what I imagine. So thank you. Thank you, Maria, for calling in. Thank you.
Hey, Inspirado, have you heard about this? Aliens in
hiding until mankind is ready, says ex-Israeli space head. The truth may be out there, but nowhere near as out there as this tale. Space aliens have reached an agreement with the US government to stay mum on the experiments they conduct on Earth, as well as their secret base on Mars, until mankind is ready to accept them, the former head of Israel's space program claimed in a new interview. More on aliens. Details of leaked Pentagon reports mention unidentified UFOs. Aliens may have once lived miles beneath the surface of this planet, research says. Obama has the skinny on aliens, but he's not talking. Google Earth user spots dome-covered cave in Antarctica, sparking alien theories. The aliens have asked not to announce that they're here, because humanity is not ready yet, Haimesh told Israel.
Man behind the machine. Yes, I've heard about our extraterrestrial brothers and sisters, our star family. Yes, I heard about that. It's funny because one of my buddies passed that along to me on December 7th. Okay, so it was on December 7th. They must have released the news early in the morning on the 8th in Israel. Because I was able to just strike right when the iron got hot, and I made a TikTok about it right away, and it was really cool. It got a lot of views. I'm excited about the part when I get views on something like that. I'm excited about the fact that it's reaching people who are waking up, and man, it's like it feels like retribution. You know what I mean? Like when you've I've read so many books about this stuff, the UFOs. I've had my own special experiences. I've talked directly. I used to go to secret UFO meetings once a month in Marina Del Rey at a motion capture place that Steve Bassett put on. He's one of the guys who was leading the disclosure movement and got all those government folks together to admit that they've known about aliens. It's funny. No matter how many times you got this stuff, still it's just hidden. It's hidden. They'd much rather broadcast the news where it's all divisive, and here's another reason why you guys need to argue with each other. But oh my God, it's so funny when you're told you're crazy, or that you're oh, there's no proof and blah 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 blah, science blah 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 blah, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. People who are speaking from that practical point of view, and God love them. God love them. It takes a special kind of mind to allow, and I would definitely say it's probably the kind of mind that does not watch the news, doesn't watch politics, doesn't get lost in that stuff, but wants to form a connection with the universe, and these things start making sense. They start making sense. So I love it, man. I love it. The Galactic Federation, huh? The Galactic Federation. These are things that Dolores Cannon talked about. These are things that Bashar has talked about. These are things that Abraham Hicks has talked about. These are things that the spiritualists, the shaman, the gurus, the Amazon rainforest witch doctors. I mean, these are things that they've known about for eons. And then for this, to be out there in the news. It's funny because I bring this stuff up. I've brought this stuff up to friends of mine who I've gotten into discussions with concerning extraterrestrials and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, the Galactic Federation. Crickets. They don't say anything. Crickets. Because those that kind of mindset is usually waiting for the stamp of approval from science to tell them that it's okay. Science now says it's okay to believe in this. The news, okay, your favorite news program said, it's okay for you to believe in this now. Go ahead. It's your favorite politician just now said that these are real. This is real. Now it's okay to go ahead. So it's a lot of times it's that stuff. God, it feels so good. Reunited, it feels so good. That's what it is, baby. Gosh. Oh. For any of you listening, look up Israeli Galactic Federation. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And not to mention that the Pentagon even admitted it at the beginning of COVID. But that was conveniently shuffled in with all the screaming and yelling going on. So, that got shuffled in there. That's actually the best time to announce news, isn't it? When there's a bunch of arguing about other things going on. You go, oh, here, by the way, we've discovered a way that people can levitate. And then it just gets buried in all the other stuff. Oh, by the way, turns out that we've been in contact with the Galactic Federation for decades. Look up Valiant Thor. V-A-L-I-A-N-T, Thor. Look up Valiant Thor Pentagon. We've had extraterrestrials visit the White House. I know a lot of us. This is what is it? The Earth stood still. The day the Earth stood still, or something. That's what that was based on. Of course, it was severely dramatized. Not to mention Battle for Los Angeles. You know what that movie's based on? An actual real life event. It's so exciting. It's so exciting. Thank you for calling in, man behind the machine. It's 2:09 p.m. December 21st. Jupiter and Saturn are right in line with each other today. You most likely know this. I think they call it the Great Conjunction Junction. What is your function? What is your function? Many believe today is the you know that old song, Age of Aquarius? Age of Aquarius. Many folks that think that this is that. Many think that today is that day. This is this day is upon us. There's the idea that we're going from 3D to 5D. There's been a lot of talk of that on TikTok, which is where I've been spending most of my time lately, which is why I've neglected my podcast, which I've neglected you, my future self. I'm sitting out here in the park. I've got bare feet. Can you hear just the ambiance back there? Can you hear that ambiance? There's so much. Look at that, the wind. I just felt the wind. The wind just now picked up. Being outside is such a big deal. Well, I guess depending on what perspective you're looking at, it's underrated to some and overrated to others. Those who like to stay inside are probably saying, "Oh, it's so overrated." But those who go hiking and are outside all the time, they're saying it's underrated. But the people who are saying it's overrated. You know, that's the funny thing of the coins, right? The coin, they're both sides of it. To my left right now is a little squirrel having a great time. And off to my right was a dog that was chasing other squirrels. I think next time I come out here, I'm going to bring probably some walnuts or something to feed the little squirrel. I think that would be fantastic. Feed the little squirrel. How fun would that be? You eventually, become sort of like the squirrel whisperer, where they start doing your bidding. I've been seeing a lot of videos on TikTok lately where people have these crows, and crows are very, very smart animals. These little guys, they can figure out puzzles. They can unlock things. They can do all kinds of crazy stuff. There's a squirrel on TikTok that talks, believe it or not. It talks. So these squirrels talk. I mean, these crows. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some squirrels talking. I know sometimes my sister's cat, Oliver, you'll hear him talk. it's funny how you'll hear cats, they'll have different meows for different things. And usually when the cat's meowing, I usually feed it, whether it's usually treats or get some dry food for those guys. But sometimes I'll hear Oliver going, hello. It sounds like he's saying hello. 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 It is so funny. He's usually doing that when my sister, Jenny, is gone. I just feel like he's saying, hello, are you listening to me? Hello. It's so funny. Hello. There's great people out here having picnics. Off in the distance, they're not there anymore. There's some folks bench pressing. There's a girl and her mom dancing. That's so great. Young girl, she's probably, I don't know, about 11 or 12. She's got a little brother. He's probably about 3. The mom is over there dancing along. I mean, man, how joyful is that? Look what nature can do for people. Nature connects you with Mother Earth, doesn't it? Particularly for today, December 21st, the Great Conjunction? I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. The astrologers and folks that I've been seeing on TikTok, they're saying that this is something that has not happened, like this specific thing with Jupiter and Saturn this close to each other has not happened since the days of the wise guys, Jesus and the wise guys. That's what my Aunt Nancy used to call them, the wise guys. The wise guys. How cool is that? Around holidays, you always start thinking about your relatives who aren't around, whether they've passed on, or whether they live in different towns. I'm curious if everyone just went on strike from watching the news and politics. What would happen if we all just collectively decided to just go on strike? Name me one. I'd love to know who is actually getting a kick out of it. Like really actually walking away from watching those kinds of programs with a high vibration. We're here for playfulness, folks. We're here for fun. I had it was a meditation, and it was also QHHT. You've probably heard me talk about QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. That is Dolores Cannon's technique that she devised through the years since the 1980s. She's a pioneer in past life regression. Imagine being someone who is just a regular hypnotherapist, and someone comes in and they say, please help me get rid of my fear of spiders. And then you take them into hypnosis, and all of a sudden they start speaking in an accent, start telling you they're from the 1800s, and she would just kind of roll with it. Okay, tell me more. And then you end up finding out that they died from, let's say, getting thrown into a vat of dangerous spiders, and they just got bitten to death. So that no wonder they're scared of spiders in this time, because their past life hung on. That spirit, it hung on. It hung on through the years. This woman, Yvonne, she had, I think, like 50 followers when I saw her on TikTok. And she didn't have any content. And so I made some videos about Dolores Cannon. And I suddenly got this bright idea. I thought, well, what if I connect What if I connect those who want QHHT or want to know their past lives? What if I were to connect them with QHHT practitioners? So I made that video and I said, please, comment below if you do QHHT, or comment below if you want to know your past lives. And so it was great because Yvonne was just one of these people. I do QHHT. I could do it remotely. And so anytime someone said, I want QHHT, I'd link them up with her and a few others, 4 or 5 others who said that they know this special technique devised by Dolores Cannon. And so her followers just grew and grew and grew, and then she started making more and more content, answering people's questions. It was so cool. So I'm so proud of her. And she said if she can reach 1,000 followers, she'll do a live QHHT session today, December 21st, this magical day. And so I put out the vibe. I say, here's this woman, Yvonne, very nice lady, great vibe, great spirit. Let's boost her up to. Let's get her up to 1,000. If she gets 1,000, she's going to do a live reading. So there are about 14 of us today. Saturn and Jupiter were to be, I think, in alignment at like 10:20 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or something like that. And so, which was, in a sense, kind of like an eclipse. And I saw pictures of this. I wasn't able to see it up in the sky myself, but there were pictures of this, man, and it looked phenomenal. It looked like an eyeball up in the sky. Now, something with that, I don't know if you're able to look at it. Like if it's like the eclipse where, they tell you, don't look at that. It'll burn your eyeballs out. I don't know if it's something like that or if it's safe for you to look at. But wow, I heard it just looked magnificent. I don't know if it's probably still up in the sky right now. I don't even know which direction to look. Really, I don't know which way to look. Yeah, I saw the photos. I saw bits of videos, and man, it looked beautiful up there. Beautiful. The other night, I was over at Ryan's with Dave Uchansky to watch Black Pumpkin together. Which, if I haven't said it enough, my horror film that I acted in, and co-produced, associate produced. I don't know. Are they the same thing? It's like a cooperation. I was a co-producer on this thing. It's out. It's out on Amazon. It's on iTunes. It's on demand until March. So if you got that, you can watch that. It's on. I think Infinity. I think someone said Infinity. Amazon, Google Play, iTunes. I guess Amazon couldn't get out the DVDs fast enough or something. So I think they're back. I think they're back ordered. Some people really want to, own that. What's so crazy is that came out December 8th. And December 8th, from what my buddy Jeff told me, I'm probably repeating all the same stuff that I put in the last podcast, but come on. If you didn't listen to it, it's fresh material for you. Some of you know by listening to this podcast how much I love 8. 8 is infinity to me. It's the hourglass. So for this to happen on December 8th, was really good. I love that idea. Then I ended up finding out that John Lennon was assassinated on December 8th. And then I also ended up finding out that Jim Morrison was born on December 8th. So it was like, oh, and then on December 8th, that was the day that the Israeli space security chief said in the headlines that we have been in contact with the Galactic Federation. It's just so great when finally science and, other people out there reaffirm stuff that people had been called crazy about before. Stuff that people had already known about. The Amazon, rainforest shaman, stuff that they've already known about for eons. And then all of a sudden we get our people finally coming out and saying it. Now, apparently, the United States has been in contact with these guys too. And our president was going to, talk about this. This was part of the reason behind the Space Force project. Who knows? Maybe it got him paranoid or something. But the fact remains is that there's a galactic federation. There are ETs. They're among us. That'd be an interesting movie. The guy who wants so bad to be man who wants so bad to talk to aliens, or meet extraterrestrials, and then he ends up finding out that he himself is an extraterrestrial. He is the, I guess the alien that he's been searching for, but just didn't even know it this whole time. Just had no clue. There's a woman walking past with her dog. It's like she's like something out of a medieval, like something out of a fantasy novel. She's got blonde hair, like a cape, shiny cape. Her dog, like a wolf. Reminds me of something like Lady Hawk or something. Have you ever seen Lady Hawk? You probably heard me talk about Lady Hawk. Her and her dog, shiny cape. So cool. If you've never seen Lady Hawk, and if you like sword play, if you like medieval type stuff, the Renaissance period, if you like going to the Renaissance fair, if you like fantasy, that type of stuff, you'll like it. It's got Matthew Broderick in it. Ferris Bueller. He's in it. He's in it. It's great. It's great. And so there's let's see. There's a spell that was cast on these two lovers. And I need to watch the movie again, but there's a spell that is not this isn't going to ruin this. It's not going to ruin anything. But she becomes the hawk during the day. Yeah, during the day she's a hawk, and the guy, her lover, is a man. But then at midnight, they switch. They turn over. They switch into, he turns into a wolf, and then she turns back into a woman. And for that split second, I think it's at midnight, for that split second, they could see each other. I think they can even touch each other for a brief second before they morph into the other creature. It's a brilliant idea. I don't know if this is based on a book or not, but to make a long story longer, that's what that woman reminded me of. She and her wolf. So So today, it was great. I think there were about 13 people, in the QHHT session. And the idea was to bring us back to a past life. And what I was seeing was we had to imagine a door in our bedroom that in a wall that didn't have a door. All of a sudden, all these dogs appeared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dogs are now all sort of coagulating over in this area. So we're imagining a door, and then we had to walk down the staircase, and then we were going down a hallway, going through a hallway, and then opening a door, and then we were in a new place. And when I first opened that door, I was basically on a cliff of just all this nature that was out there, beautiful mountains and scenery, and this water down below. And then we were to then imagine ourselves. See, the idea of this is to get rid of your left brain, get rid of all analytical. Oh wait, these people have more dogs than okay. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're pushing 1, 2, 3. Oh no, 1. Yeah, 2. They're pushing 2 in like baby carriages. So there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dogs. All little dogs. All little dogs, different kinds too. A couple of chihuahuas. A little short floppy one that looks like a mop. Those are so fun, little moppy ones. It might be what they call the Bichon Frise. My stepmom used to have one of those when I lived with my my dad and my stepmom. Then there's what is that little guy? Is that a Yorkie maybe? Yeah, a little Yorkie. Wow, yeah, they're just riding in the baby carriage. So funny, baby stroller. Pushing them around. So funny. So we had to, after we opened that door, we had to just envision ourselves at in a town or some sort. And that's where I imagined the sort of like Norwegian-ish kind of, imagine like Skyrim, Norseman. If you get a chance, check that out on Netflix. Norseman, such a good show. That would be my future billionaire self is, now that would be a dream, is any of these shows that I see that are about to get canceled. Oh my God, I'd love to be the dude who bankrolls them. Like, okay, here's your next season. Wouldn't it be fun? I mean, God, if you were a billionaire, imagine this. If you're a billionaire and you got your favorite actors, you got your favorite directors, you got your favorite musicians, you got your favorite, all those favorites, wouldn't it be fun to make movies that feature all of those people in them? Like the nostalgia involved. I want to get Lee Majors into a movie. I want to get Gil Gerard. These guys played $6 Million Man and Buck Rogers back in the day. Oh my God, great guys. Also, not Henry Winkler, is it? Not Winkler. Well, the Fonz, why not? Why not the Fonz? But what I'm thinking of is the Greatest American Hero guy. Him. Even, and especially the out-of-work actors, the ones who are well, heck, let's get William Shatner in there. Dudes from A-Team, you better believe I'd get Mr. T in there. You better believe it, man. If Michael Jackson was still alive, he would have been doing a soundtrack. Just your favorite bands, get them together and go, here you go. We're going to make this movie, and you guys are going to be the ones who are in it. Your dream projects. I'd have David Lynch directing things. I'd say, what projects do you have that you've never been able to get funding for, but have been your dream projects? I know David Lynch has got quite a few. He's got quite a few. I'd love to see that. Wouldn't that be nice, man? And then imagine, like, starting your own video game company. God, that too. So, back to the village. So, I was envisioning a village. I was imagining, like, not thatched roof huts, not thatched roof, but that old time, that old. Look up Skyrim, Skyrim. Look up Skyrim villages, or anything like that, or Norwegian towns. Just that rustic, I guess, is a better, lack of a better, I don't really have the best explanation, but that's it, rustic. Just out there in the country, just out there. And so this sort of a Ben Kingsley kind of looking guy, we got into a sword fight, and he killed me. That's what I let my mind run free with. The idea is to not judge the ideas that are coming to you. The idea is to not may even make sense of what's coming to you in that moment while you are in that state. The idea is to just let it run free. Automatic writing, like little kids finger painting. Just going for it, making shapes. I'll be doing live streams. And I reached 1,000 on TikTok. Over 1,000. I'm up to like 8,000 something now. I can't believe it. I think that's in part to me. I try to reply to every comment that's on the videos. It's kind of fun for me. And I think one of my theories is, definitely the material that's being put up there. I'm putting up Dolores Cannon, I'm putting up Bashar, I'm putting up Abraham Hicks. Sharing them with the populace. I'm starting to see a lot more Dolores Cannon videos up there now. People reading from the books. And just so fascinating. So it's definitely the material that you're putting out there. But also commenting on people in there, because you get to see their personality, another aspect of your personality, and people go, he seems like a nice guy. I'm going to follow him. And you just never know what's going to click with people. And so now that more and more people are sharing Dolores Cannon, it's waking people up. People are getting more, they're getting more enlightened. Dolores Cannon talks a lot about the new earth. And in fact, a QHHT practitioner, one of her students, Alba Weinman, you can actually check out her stuff on YouTube. Alba Weinman, Weinman, Alba. Alba Weinman has a lot of, she records those sessions and puts them up on a YouTube channel. And so I've been recording some of that to show people an example of what QHHT is all about. And you got all kinds of great comments in there. All kinds of great comments. Mostly high vibrating ones, which is awesome. And the ones who, just don't understand, you just say, okay, thanks for input. But then some of them, it's crazy because one guy was making fun of Bashar. It's understandable. It's understandable, you guys. It's information that is definitely not going to be found in the news or politics. Definitely not. So you have to be willing to challenge a limited belief system, and by limited belief system, I'm talking about social constructs that have been drilled into our brains since we were young. We've talked about this all the time. You know what I'm talking about. It's about connecting to. You're connecting with your higher self. That's the goal. That's what you really want to do. That's the main focus. That is the real deal. By the way, I've still got podcasts of information to share. I've got stuff that I recorded when I was with the Yachtly crew over the past weekend, actually. We were out there for a private party in Scottsdale, Arizona, for the copper mining company. Copper mining company. These guys did $16 billion in sales. And so it was a drive-in situation. And it was great. We were out there for 3 days. Oh, by the way, yeah. So while we were out there, we had a green screen. We shot a Baby Please Come Home music video. And that's on YouTube, which you could check out. Which, by the way, our friends over there at KUSI, the news channel in San Diego, they're just so good. They're so good. They're always playing. They call us their in-house band, which I think just think is so awesome. Here's another song by our in-house band, Yachtly Crew. And so that brings a lot of people to the website, a lot of people to the Facebook page. Just so cool. Just so exciting. So that's out there. So we shot with a green screen in a hotel room. Thanks to my Max Neptune and the Menacing Squid experience with us doing green screen stuff. Thanks to that, I was able to use my what I learned from that and show these guys how to light the screen and everything. And it all turned out awesome. It was so much fun. So much fun. We had a great time. And when you put out that fun, that joyfulness, that playfulness, and you stamp it into your projects, others feel that joy. Others feel that good vibe. Especially right now, there's a lot of bleakness going on. You already know it. I don't even need to tell you. Also, today's the first day that I walked without a mask on my face. That's right. I walked without a mask on my face. I breathed the fresh air. I followed my directions. I didn't stand anywhere close to anybody within 6 feet. And just keeping the immunity up. Keep the immunity up. Virus will not catch you if you keep the immunity up. That's what it's all about. Keep the immunity up. My buddy got me a smart watch. What is it called? Aware Fit, I think it's called. And you can actually measure your how many steps you took, how many calories you burnt, your heart beats per minute, your pulse. I don't know if that's the same thing or not. Or is that temperature? Oxygen, your oxygen levels, your immune reference. You could check what your immunity is right there. So if I see that my immunity is down, what do? You get some zinc tablets. You do what you can. My buddy Lawrence is a nutritionist. And he has a whole protocol that's very helpful. And just gotta keep your immunity up. That's what it's all about. Don't get next to people when they're coughing. Don't put your fingers on your face and your eyes and in your mouth after being outside and touching things. Wash your hands. Just very simple. Very easy, very simple. Very easy. Sun feels good on your face. I just say look up whatever rules, not rules necessarily, but look up, find out what it is that will, the ways in which you can get it, and just don't do those things. Very simple. That's it. Stay away from the ways in which they say that you can get it. Keep the immunity up. Eat healthy. But God, it just feels so good to have the fresh air, breathing in the fresh air. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. Obviously, if I'm gonna go in someplace, I'll wear the mask. Obviously, if I'm around people, obviously. But I don't need to justify any of this. So being in that high state of vibration of enlightenment, I got to tell you, when I came out of that hypnosis session, when I came out of that, I'll just say it was meditation. It was the same state of being, When I came out of that state of being today, wow, just enlightenment. No wonder why these transcendental meditationists meditate, 2 times a day, 2 or 3 times a day. 20 minutes a day, that's not much. What do? People watch TV for 20 minutes or more. Or check their social media. For more than 20 minutes a day. So meditation is the best form of entertainment because you're getting the vibes directly from source. You're touching source. All that is. You're plugging right into it. You're plugging right into it. In transcendental meditation, they liken it to waves. Okay, so all the anxiety, all the crazy stuff that people arguing, all the fear that's in the media. Those are big waves that are crashing. You go deep, 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 deep into the deepest states of consciousness, and it's very calm down there, very serene. That's what you want to do. You want to deep dive. Deep dive. I did a series on TikTok about how to raise your vibration. There's a chart, they call it the Hawkins chart. You can actually see the full spectrum of what these emotions and what frequency they vibrate as. I think I said this before, enlightenment is way up there. Shame is the lowest. In the middle is neutral, obviously. But enlightenment is higher than love, which is interesting. So you really want to try to be as enlightened as possible. And I got to tell you, just by looking at the chart and going one little step at a time and visualizing yourself embracing that emotion and accepting it into your being, by doing that, you can actually feel yourself. You can feel yourself. It's nice to have a visual right there, rather than what so many of us do is just fighting against anxiety, fighting against, I'm a fighter, I'm a warrior, I'm a boss, I'm strong, okay? That implies that you're battling something. On the outside, that's very admirable. Great. Thank you for telling us. Number one, you don't have to tell anybody. You don't have to tell anybody. 2, wouldn't it be nice to not have to battle? Wouldn't that be nice? People who have to fight to be heard, they just don't feel so. There's unrest there. But when you got nothing to prove, you don't let the ego. You just go, okay, ego, you're gonna sit in the back seat. We're gonna let. What is Source telling me to do? We're gonna let Source take me in this direction. There's a guy who goes by the name of it's Mr. MR. So it's MRMING, Mr. Ming. He's on TikTok, and he said ever since he was a little kid, his spiritual relatives would tell him that he can see in other dimensions and he can travel through other dimensions and stuff, and he can read past lives. So it's interesting. He was telling me that he sees that he met my spirit in the spirit realm, and there's like a blue and a green that were glowing, and I don't know if those are my favorite colors. Imagine a green is sort of a neon leaves. You'll see it on leaves. I think people call it sea foam green, maybe. But then there's also a blue that's just right on the edge of that green. See, that green is like close. It's like kind of in the realm closer to the yellow. But then the blue is a little closer to the green. And you can just see hints of it. Just baby little hints. And those must be the colors that he saw. And he said, follow the yellow. He said, that's the... And then that reminded me of the latest Twin Peaks Season 3, where Dale Cooper is following the yellow. Isn't it interesting? Follow the yellow brick road. And green is Emerald City. Quite interesting. There are a lot of extraordinary analogies going on in Wizard of Oz. So many people have interpreted it in so many different ways. So many great analogies in there. So it was cool to hear him say these things. We'll see what else he got. This morning I did some meditation. He said he was going to connect with me. Connect with my spirit in that realm. And then so there's going to be 2 times today, in the morning and then at a different time, which was also close to when the big conjunction was happening. And so that was during the time when I was under the QHHT session. So that's cool. There's just nothing like group meditation. So let's manifest that into 2021. Instead of protests, we'll call them pro meds, or no. Not a protest. What is it? What would it be? Just meditation. Meditation. People going out in the streets and meditating instead of, all the other stuff that we've seen. Just good-natured vibes. Just good vibes. Being okay with feeling joy, not feeling shame or guilt because you're enjoying your moments and someone else out there in the world isn't. It's fine to think of those people. As Dolores Cannon found in her past life regression sessions with these people through her QHHT, through thousands of different people, we have all chosen in the spirit realm. We've chosen we've chosen the body. How we're gonna who are our parents, how we're gonna die, all that stuff. And so that's something to consider. It's not that we don't have empathy for those people out there. Certainly, we help them out. We do what we can. There's also another great phrase, charity begins at home. So if your family is poor, and yet all you're doing is giving charity to other places, that's something to think about. That's something to think about. So the idea is that we are each a microcosm of the macrocosm of the all that is. And the more that we rise individually, the more that reverberates out there into the world for everybody else. So I hope, I trust that you're having an extraordinary December 21. Think about this. It's a palindrome. It's a palindrome. 1221. It's so funny because I said this in a podcast long ago. Like, I think as we were turning into 2020, I said, how interesting is that when you think of 2020, you're thinking of hindsight. Hindsight is 2020. And then 2020 looks like glasses. I don't know if you remember me saying that or not, but the 2 zeros are the specs that you're looking through, and then think of the 2s as the things that go around your ears. So you can look forward to new things, or you can look to the past. But then also, what kind of glasses are you wearing? What kind of perspective are you? Are we looking through? While we look through those glasses, it's our choice. Are the images that it's kind of like the Viewmaster? I don't know if you remember the Viewmaster. You could look through that thing, and then there are these little discs that had images on them, like slides, basically. You put them in there, and since the eyes were set, apart, it made it look three-dimensional. So, do you want to look at the scene of Italy? Do you want to look at the scene of the Statue of Liberty? Do you want to look at the scene of just openness, beautiful, landscapes, waterfalls? Or are you preferring to look through at a different kind of scene? Because the scene you're looking at is the one that you're going to be talking about. What you consume, you produce. What I consume, I produce. And there you have it. 1221. So yeah, I said that right as 2020 was beginning. Right when 2020 was beginning. And then since then I've seen all of these, it's interesting, all these spiritual folks coming out and saying this stuff. That's the other interesting thing about TikTok, is that you see reaffirmations of ideas, theories, and philosophies that you've had. Just very, very incredible. Just incredible. I love this. I'm seeing more people leaning against trees out here. This is great. Oh, I love this. So cool. So cool. People reading books. Gosh. And think about this too. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 is a magic number. And the other 2 plus 1, that's a 3. So you got a 3 and a 3. But you add those together, you got a 6. 3, 6, and 9 are actual conscious entities from what Nikolai Tesla found. How cool is that? So I trust you're having a wonderful palindrome today. And that's the other thing too. If we take the 2020, if we take those zeros and squash them together, what do you got? You got infinity, baby. You got the hourglass. You got the hourglass. Which way is it going to tip? It's up to you. It's all up to you. It's always up to you. Always up to you. When we stop arguing for our limited beliefs, we gain so much more. When we stop trying to hold so tightly to an identity, we then let in the possibilities for all identity, infinity. Oh, it's so satisfying. Thank you so much for listening to Inspirado Projecto. Take care.
This is Blythe Baines, and you're listening to Inspirado Projecto.